Why do you become nervous during an interview or while speaking in English? Have you thought about it? Is it only because of the language barrier? Or is it because you don't know how to express in English? Is that the only reason? I'm going to give you 5 points, and these 5 points will help you cross-examine why exactly you experience nervousness. It will help you to analyze and to give your best shot during an interview, while speaking in English to strangers, while having a conversation. Let's get started. My name is Renee Rose Matthew. I'm a CELTA certified tutor and also an author. I've been into this journey for a very long time, and I would like to share my experience and my thoughts with you through this channel. If you're visiting the channel for the first time, do not forget to go through all the other topics. I've done videos and topics on language learning, personality development, communication skills, and also I've done a few book reviews. It will definitely help you. Today's topic: why do you experience nervousness? I know that some of you tell me, ma'am, it's because I don't know English. Possibly it's because I did not go to an English medium school. It could also be because I don't know how to get words, learn words, and to express myself in fluent English. All these are right to an extent. But did you know that people who are fluent speakers also experience nervousness? And then you may tell me that, ma'am, it's because of practice. Yes, practice is there, but still, let's take the first point. Practically speaking, when you're right in front of the interview panel, you have strangers in front of you, and you know that they are experienced than you, they know more than you perhaps, and you have all the assumptions to an extent at the back of your mind saying that you are not their level. Okay, of course that will trigger your anxiety, and some of you become nervous, and some people go to the extent of shivering, sweating. It happens. It's not just because you don't know English. The first possible point is, before comprehending the question, before processing the question and the answer, you begin answering. That is, you shoot your answer. This could be because you learned the answer from somewhere, you would have referred to some other videos or content, you would have got some lines from there. These are all good ways of preparing for an interview or while talking to strangers or having a conversation. Though conversations are spontaneous, you may have some lines or some thoughts in your mind that are ready to be used. So you need to process the question. In certain places, you may not have to even give away everything. Nobody's asking you to give away everything. Suppose the interview question is, would you help me understand yourself better? So you may become nervous. What is the meaning of this question? Not because you don't understand the words. It's primarily because you're nervous. You haven't processed the question. If you don't understand the question, you can just say, beg your pardon, would you please repeat the question, instead of saying, I don't understand, I didn't understand. Okay, you know all these things. The first thing is, before comprehending the question, before processing the question, you begin shooting your answer. This happens on social media as well. There are a lot of people who just comment even without comprehending what you're trying to say. Especially when you're learning, when you want to get better at your language skills, you need to listen properly. Listening is very important. That's why we have listening as a skill. Yeah? Along with reading, writing, speaking, you have listening, because you need to comprehend, process, filter, throw away the ones that's not required, and then after that, give the best possible answer by your power of decisiveness. The second point, spontaneous thoughts mean you have flow, but impulsive answer is quick to answer. Sometimes it could be retorting. If it's not retorting, especially during an interview or when you speak to strangers, most of us don't retort unless it's very abusive and too critical. Otherwise, impulsiveness is not going to fetch you the right answer. In fact, it will not give you the time to process the question. You may have this thought in your mind, I've prepared well, I know some English, I need to just give the answer, or what would the interview panel be thinking about me? They may think that I'm a fool, I don't understand the question properly. No, that's not the idea. You don't have to be impulsive. So being spontaneous is good. That is, you have the flow, you have sometimes the thought flow that is random. You would have got some time to process the thought. It's not about the right and wrong answers. Impulsive means you just give away the answer without thinking, without comprehending, without listening, without really understanding or even processing the information that you have. What if you have got some information in your mind? You may later feel bad, right? So after interview, you may tell yourself or others, I knew the answer to this, but I was not able to do justice, right? It has happened. It has happened to many people because you just want to give the answer. So find out the difference between the two and analyze instead of being self-critical, instead of just destroying all your confidence saying that it's because you don't know English. You can think about this will help you. And even if you know just a few words in English, it will help you to process the thoughts. It will help you to find the best possible words. When I say the best word, it's not vocabulary. It is finding the appropriate answer. The third point. I know that all of you listen to a lot of content. You just type the topic, it's there. Okay? You can filter what you want, you just have to leave the others. Now, when it comes to the third point, that is, you all read a lot, you all listen to many things, but still, do you just read for entertainment? If you're working on your language, I've already made videos on how to read effectively, productively. You don't have to necessarily understand the meaning of all words and process all the sentences. No, that's not required. But do you just read for entertainment? Do you just read to respond to something or just to grab some words? It could be a combination of all the things because communication skill requires every bit of this. So it shouldn't be just to grab some words, but enjoy, read. Or do you just listen, do you just read to understand? When I say understand, it's not comprehending the complete thought or everything that the speaker has tried conveying through the content. No, it's not that. If you just read for the sake of reading, no, it's not going to help. If you just listen to something for the sake of listening, that is just to reply or say something, it's not going to help. And if you're going to be having that flow of thoughts, that's also fine. Apart from that, if you also have coordination of thoughts with coherence, that's great. If you don't have any of these, but if you just read for the sake of reading, and if you just listen for the sake of listening, it's not going to help you. You have to actively listen, actively read. So when it comes to interview, or when it comes to speaking to strangers or having a conversation, you experience nervousness because at the back of the mind, you know already. Your mind will tell you, it will give you this alert. Hey, you haven't read enough. You haven't done justice to reading. That is, you haven't actively read or listened to anything to give the desired output. Now, even for a fluent speaker, they also experience nervousness and anxiety. So they would have gone through a lot of interview rounds. They would have cleared all the interview rounds and they would have messed up the last one. It's possible because of the level, the intensity and the aptitude level examinations are there, tests are there. I'm not speaking about that. I'm speaking about the areas where fluent speakers get stuck. And that's not because they face a glitch or it's not because they don't know the language, right? It's just because they know that they haven't done justice to the information or they haven't done justice to the reading and listening part. See, when you're in a conversation, because of practice, you'll be able to just keep on speaking with a lot of grammatical errors. Or when you are attending an interview, you'll be able to give the answer, but the answer will not be accepted. The interview panel will give you the constructive feedback after the round if it's possible. Otherwise, you will know. You will know at the back of your mind and deep within that you haven't done justice to the round because of other factors and not because of language hindrance, language problems and issues. So this is something that you have to cross-examine. Have I done enough? Now here comes a subtopic, that is preparation. You would have prepared, you would have learned a lot from the resources, but why you are not able to put it in words, despite being good at English, it's only because of that part where you did not do practice along with coordination, and also because you did not actively read and actively listen. Why do we have comprehension questions or some kind of rounds after listening to a content? To just ensure that you understood at least 85% of what you read and what you listened to. I hope you get the point. So never listen, never read, or never respond to anything just for the sake of doing it, because people will understand and that's going to go in the air. It's not going to be taken into consideration at all, and it's not part of constructive feedback as well. The next point is all about imitation. So when we specialize in accent, or when you really want to work on your pronunciation, to an extent you can imitate, and that's fine. I've also done videos on shadowing. Shadowing really helps, where you kind of imitate the tone with your own style. I've done detailed videos on this. Imitating is good. You can also reproduce the answers that you read in some books, or if you've gone for some coaching, you can take those points as well. But what am I referring to here? Imitating and just bluntly putting forth the point will not help. So you would have referred to some resources, you would have got some points from here and there. You don't have the chat GPT in front of you or any AI tools. When you're attending an interview, you have to give your own answers. And you may feel it's only because of language barrier, which is not true. It is because you are producing something that is not yours. If you take something from a resource, if you also read from somewhere, if you have got some guidelines from somewhere and someone, try to give your own style to it, improvise, garnish your style, garnish your content and your creativity, because that is what is required today. There are a lot of people who are qualified, who have got a lot of skills, but they are not able to bring in the creativity only because of this reason. And what is that reason? You bluntly produce what you get from here and there. So when you read, you get ideas, you get information. When you listen also, you get a lot of ideas and information. But you have to put in your creativity. You will have a lot of things hiding within you. So it's not necessarily the language barrier. You may have English. I have a lot of intermediate learners and also advanced learners telling me, ma'am, I'm good at English. I have all the skills. I've gone through assessments. But when it comes to conversations with strangers, or when I attend interviews, I'm not able to give the desired output just because of some reason, and that some reason is here. That is, you're not doing justice to what you get from resources, what you get from the tools that you use, because you have access to everything today. Are you using it with full wisdom? Are you using it in the right way is the question. And along with this, you have to remember that you need not be in a hurry. You have to take pause. You have to take pause. You have to have a pace where you process your thoughts and where there is a thought process involved before giving the next line. Sometimes when people speak, there is artificiality. There are no pauses. There's no intonation. There is no moderation of sounds. Nothing is there. You're not a robot. You need to understand that naturality and natural pacing is important when you give an answer. The interview panel and even the person who's listening to you should feel that there is something organic, that there is some genuinity hidden here, or that you're fit for this role. Even if you don't know the answers to all the questions, I've already done 2 videos on this. Even if you don't know the answer to all the questions, it's okay to say, I'm afraid I'm not able to produce the desired answer now. I'll update on this later and get back, or I'll update on this point. It's fine. If you can't say this much, you can say, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to this. I'll read more about it. Very simple. So even to say that no, even to show that you are not aware about something, you need the language skills, and for that, you cannot simply imitate and give blunt, reproduced or repeated answers. Because I've also been a part of interview panel many times, so I just thought of sharing these guidelines so that it helps at least some of you. The final point is gratitude, being grateful. So you may ask me, what is the relationship between gratitude, being thankful, and being a part of an interview or even attending an interview? I'll make this clear for you. We know that life is very precious, every moment is precious. I'm speaking about the Ahmedabad plane crash that happened 3 days back, so I'm recording this 3 days after the plane crash. I've been reiterating on gratitude since the cancer phase. I've done 2 videos on cancer phase. Even before that, I knew the meaning of gratitude, but I did not give much importance to it. I realized that it's so important after seeing so many people, after being a part of the cancer phase. So you can watch that. And even after seeing all the incidents that happened, and 3 days back also this happened, the plane crash, we don't know what's going to happen next. This has got nothing to do with the algorithm or anything that is connected to the social media, but it's just being grateful. So when you practice gratitude, you will not have that space for nervousness or anxiety. You will have more of confidence and maybe 3% or even 8% of nervousness. It's natural. It's natural and quite okay to experience nervousness because you are a part of an atmosphere where you have strangers, and that's okay. You can't be always confident in front of strangers. It's not going to happen that way. But the problem creeps in when you have more of nervousness and less confidence. That's what I'm trying to say. So when you practice gratitude, when you know that this is one golden opportunity that you have in front of you, you will learn how to bring in that confidence more, whatever you have practiced, with less anxiety, saying, I'll give you some attention later. So it's like telling nervousness, not now, maybe later. It's okay as a human being to experience nervousness and anxiety, but you'll have more space for confidence. And when you give thanks and when you are quite grateful for all that you have been through, you will not have time to get the attention of others. Today we have people criticizing each other randomly. It's found on social media as well. You need to understand that these attention seekers are quite jobless. It is primarily because they are at constant battle with the self. And remember, when they criticize, they don't want the best of you. When a person is really concerned about you, they will not abuse, they will not be invective with the style of language. Sometimes they'll be very calm and pleasant, but at the same time, they can be quite dangerous with the feedback that they give. It may not necessarily help you. You know all about this. So when you practice gratitude, you will not have more space for nervousness and anxiety. You will have more of confidence. At the same time, you will also have that fortitude. You will also have the courage to move forward despite the failure. You will also be ready to take up risks. You will attend more interviews, or maybe you will give chance for more options and opportunities. That is when people will find you. That is when you will explore yourself, not when you succumb to negative criticism. Constructive criticism is maybe just 20% or 10%, but many people find time for negativity and negative criticism because they are quite frustrated with the self and they don't want the well-being of the other person, and that is why they are quite abusive. And one more thing is, they may not even know that you have attended all these interviews, you have been preparing for all these interviews, or you're a very hardworking person who really want a job, or who is into language learning or any skill for that matter. So that is something you have to be very cautious about, because practicing gratitude itself will reduce your anxiety. That itself will reduce the chance of sweating, experiencing shivers. That itself will make you calm. You will not begin sweating. You will not feel cold and numb. You will not feel throttled as well. So practice this. Speak to yourself about these things, because your mind is very smart. It will be processing all these things. That is where you have to slow down, think, and then move forward. I hope that all these points help you. There were 5 points altogether. So if you just listen to this with a lot of patience, you would have reached this part of the video. I decided to make this video because I see many experts, many advanced learners also not finding the time to comprehend what's being really said, but they just have a lot of questions. They may not have the time to comprehend what they do and what they have been through. So whenever you attend an interview, it's not just the language barrier that is playing, that is causing the obstacle, or that is itself a hindrance to your progress. The next level interview or the next level discussion that you have within the company with the experts or people who belong to the higher strata of that same company or institution may look for some other skills. It's not just the information. They know how informative, how knowledgeable, and how hardworking you are, but they may look into other things. So there you have these aspects. So you may wonder, is it only because of the language barrier? No, absolutely not. And if you're really struggling with language, if you feel that it is the language barrier, you can watch all my other videos where I've spoken about sentence construction, vocabulary, how to improve your thoughts, how to think in English, how to stop translating. So many topics have been done. You can also listen to the book reviews. You can also get some insights into the books that you should be choosing and all such guidelines. Happy learning.